Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Rome Freaker, which got a new shape for 2025. This board features Rome's Fusion Camber, which is camber into a micro rocker in the tip and the tail. This is going to give you all the load, pop, snap, and drive of traditional camber underfoot, but with that rocker out in the tip and the tail, it's going to give you ease of entry in and out of turns, as well as a more optimal sweet spot for pressing and buttering. This board's available in 153, 156, 159, 157 wide, and 160 wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that could best be described as Mother Nature was drunk. It went from overcast and nasty to perfectly blue skies and right back to overcast and nasty like 3 or 4 times. There was chop, chunder, dust on crust, perfect corduroy ice, kind of just a mix of everything with some high winds. And I rode this board with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. Rome really leaned into the directional flex on this, even though it's a directional twin. That means you've got a softer nose because there's only one Omega bamboo rod and there's 2 down in the tail. So it starts off with a softer nose, progressively stiffening up to the tail. And it's not much difference in flex from the nose to the tail. It's not like it's a crazy difference, but it's there. You have a key flex point right inside the rear foot. So when you're really hammering it in, bending your knee in, you can elevate the front of the board. The torsional flex is very reactive. It's not soft and spongy. You can twist this board, but expect it to bounce right back. When it comes to the stability, while you might get a little chatter in the nose, it's pretty much all dissipated before it hits the front foot. And when you're cruising through rutted out terrain, this board just cuts through that crap like there's no other. It stays on top of it, it pushes through everything, and it just wants to continue to charge. This board can boost. That camber profile is very easy to load up, and when you roll back on the tail, it engages those 2 rods and it springs. You're gonna send it a little bit higher and a little bit further. Families of fat skiers are not ready for you to launch over them with this board, but you are, so send it. When it comes to jumps, small, medium, large, you're fine. This board can handle it. It's gonna pop off the lip, get you in the air, send you past the knuckle, because believe me, you don't wanna hit the knuckle, right to the sweet spot of the landing. It doesn't matter. If you're riding a smaller jump, load it up less. You're riding a bigger jump, load it up more. That's obvious. But here's the thing, if you don't load it up and you just let the lip throw you, it still reacts and springs you. This board wants to get up in the air. All right, why don't you click like, why don't you subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing anything we got coming out for you. Or don't do it. Who am I to tell you what to do? I'm nobody. The big thing to know is that you've got these rods in this board, and they are pretty much right where the sweet spots are in the nose and the tail to press. The nose is going to be easier to press because you only have 1 in there. So when you get your weight out over it, it flexes in easy and you can hold it, and then at the end of your butter, you're able to just spring it right out. With the tail, it takes more effort. You're going to just find that you're kind of sitting on it, but you're going to get double the spring out of that. So when you're sideways, you're sitting on it, it's really flexed. You put your weight outside that binding, you engage those rods, you're gonna spring. If you know how to swizzle and sizzle, you're not gonna have a problem. If you don't, you're probably gonna eat shit and die and cry, and nobody likes a crybaby. You know who you are. I've seen your comments. Stop commenting, crybaby. When it comes to jibbing, it's the same thing. It's highly reactive, so you're gonna really have to push and keep your weight out over the nose or the tail to hold that press. When you get to the end of the feature, it's gonna spring you right out. When you go sideways, it locks in around the feature. It's like a gentle caress. It's not gonna clap out. It's not as forgiving as some other boards I've ridden, but it's solid enough that you can get sideways and not worry about it. Overall, if you know how to jib, you're gonna have a fine time with this board. If you don't, it's gonna make you learn how to correct some of your bad habits. The biggest change with this board is how it rides on edge when you're cruising, as well as when you're driving it hard, trying to just apex that carb. It's got a fluid and smooth edge-to-edge power transmission. You can feel the power in there, but it's not gonna hold you back. It rolls up from toe to heel very easily, and the torsional flex matches that, as it is a reactive torsional flex. You can ankle steer, but it's gonna spring you. What you need to know about is that flex point right in front of the back insert pack. When you're driving this board on edge, even at medium speed, you can push into it, load that camber up, disengage the front, and really loop this out of a carve and lay it over aggressively. That's where this board has changed. Those short, tight, quick carves, they're easy. You're just ankle steering, you're doing things. Medium mellow carves are where it changes though, because of that flex point. You can take it from a medium carve to a hard carve with very little power change. And then if you're really going fast and you're trying to lay it over, you notice how aggressive you can get with this board. Overall, this board actually got better on edge than the previous model. Rider in mind. So who's this board for? Someone that likes serious snap and a board that can do it all. This is a quintessential directional twin, in my opinion. Hey, if you like what we're doing over here, you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. I liked the old Freaker. That board was fun. I love the new Freaker. This board has more snap and more power and better edge hold and initiation than the old version. You get more power out of it. I did not want to get off this board. I could see myself riding this as my daily board. In fact, I'm honestly considering it as one of my replacements to my Shadowban. This board is a quintessential directional twin for a rad dad. And as I'm 41 and I don't know if I have kids, I assume that I'm probably a rad dad. If not, I'm just the creepy uncle. Comparable boards: the Battalion Beyond Metals, the Ride Shadowban, the Rossignol One. Binding recommendations: the Rome Katana, the Yes Airmaster, the Union Force. This has been my review of the Rome Freaker. If you liked it and maybe you're considering some other options, why don't you check out one of the videos for one of the comparable boards? Go do it right now. You know you want to, then come back and watch this again.